gave the assurance after a crucial meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the leadership of the National Assembly over the fiscal document. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports.
Although the meeting aimed at finding lasting solutions to the controversy surrounding the 2016 budget of change lasted less than 20 minutes, all areas of disagreements between the executive and the legislature may have been addressed. President Muhammadu Buhari was accompanied to the meeting by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, while Senate President Bukola Saraki and Speaker Yakubu Dogara led the principal officers of the Senate and House of Representatives. Speaking to newsmen after the meeting, Senate President Bukola Saraki said frank discussions were held and decisions taken in the interest of Nigeria.
We're happy to say that we've all agreed on the way forward, and we believe that this process will be completed in a matter of days rather than weeks. So it's good news to Nigerians, to all of us. As you know, the budget process always has knots and problems here and there, but we've been able to resolve this. We've found a way forward, and we're all happy to report that we've cracked this. And in a matter of days, the budget will be ready for President's assent.
The Senate President, who could not agree to speak on the grey areas in the fiscal document, however, said both parties have resolved to chart a pragmatic course in the management of the nation's economy.
Committees who have been set up on our side and also on the...
A forum for refrag, but it's a forum that could key into the present change of government.
And the Senate has passed the bill for an act to repeal the Inland Waterways Act 2004 to enable private sector participation in the sector. Muhammad Ali is standing by with highlights of today's plenary. Muhammad.
Studio, the Senate this Wednesday convened and went into closed executive session. After about 20 minutes, the Senate convened plenary and a debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to establish the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, passed second reading after senators made contribution. Another bill that was debated was that on the National Inland Waterways, which was sponsored by distinguished Senator Andy Uba. After some objections here and there by senators, the bill passed second reading. I have with me here sponsor of that bill, distinguished Senator Andy Uba. Your bill on the National Inland Waterways,
yes,
just passed second reading. Yes. What is it different that you want to repeal and reenact? What do you want to promote in this bill?
There's a lot of things going on. If we want to improve the economy, if we want to improve employment for our people, they should allow private partnership in the inland waterways. So many businessmen that have money want to invest, and you can see what is happening in our roads. But if we're able to open the waterways, I mean, more transportation, more things will go through the water rather than damaging the roads.
Does it mean now that the Act does not allow private sector participation?
No, the Act
does. 388 in Shiroro, 187 in Lavun, and 67 in Mokwa local government areas of the state. While presenting the items, Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello said though the items will be insufficient to address all their needs, at this critical time, it is a step forward that will provide some form of relief and hopes more will be done in the future.
But I think the most important thing, I hope they're able to go back to their respective homes very soon. We don't want them to stay away from their homes for too long.
You, sir. Deputy Governor Ahmed Mohamed Ketso said the items are part of the intervention policy of the Niger State Emergency Management Agency to displaced persons, which is meant to assist them during their trying time. Abubakar Usman, while thanking the state government for the gesture, said this is the first relief to come their way in over a year after fleeing from their state, and appealed for more assistance in order to make them self-reliant. In Mina, Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
And to security matters, the Nigeria Police has commenced the restoration of civil authority in liberated communities of the Northeast. Inspector General of Police Solomon Arasi announced this while on an assessment tour of Maiduguri, Borno State. Maimuna Garba reports.
With the war against terrorism almost over and
are happy returning home after liberation of their areas and reopening of roads. They are, however, counting their losses in the midst of destruction of critical infrastructure. The communities are preparing to commence work on fertile lands abandoned when insurgents took over. Hussein Muhammad Isa takes a look at the devastation and challenges militating against commencement of agricultural activities.
Before the outbreak of Boko Haram activities in Yobe State, Gujiba local government was known to be the agricultural hub of the state due to the abundant fertile lands in the area and the large farming population. However, the council, which was occupied by Boko Haram terrorists before it was liberated by the military, reversed the fortunes of agricultural production in the area. Bunyadi town, the headquarters of Gujiba local government and first to fall into the hands of the insurgents in the state, suffered a lot of destruction of critical infrastructure, social amenities, and property of residents, sending the farming population to IDP camps and relatively peaceful communities.
Distribute nearly about 50% of our, food items of the state. That means they contribute to national food security.
With noting on ground, the eager returnees are starting life.
Are gradually but steadily assuming a frightening national security challenge.
I think the long-term solution of creating ranches might be a better way to move for this country. The federal government needs to do something and do it fast.
Another topical issue is the issue of adulteration of fertilizer. And one of the bills also seeks to end this problem of adulteration of fertilizer.
The quality of inputs generated in this public hearing will no doubt enable the committee to make appropriate recommendations that will generate peaceful coexistence amongst rural communities. In another development, the Chairman House Committee on Environment, Obinna Chidoka, says they are committed to ensuring that the objective of government in establishing Ecological Fund Office is not further derailed. This was at an interactive session with the fund administrators.
One of the outcomes is to see the synergy, to work together to make sure that funds are judiciously used, one, and to make sure that we protect every part of this country as well.
Representative Chidoka also spoke on enacting legislations to establish the Certification and Ecological Control Agency. From the National Assembly, Ifani Esumba, NTA News.
Towards enhancing the capacity and efficiency of legislators at the state level, the National Institute for Legislative Studies, NILS, has held a training session for members
House of Assembly and members of other state houses of assembly with a view to imbibing the training and translating it into good governance and even greater service delivery to constituents. From the NILS headquarters in Abuja, Dennis Adignloye, NTA News.
Service of songs for Tunji Braithwaite from Lagos Network Center, as Jennifer brings us details. It's over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Larry. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has fixed the 12th of May for the trial of the Managing Director of the Nigerian Airspace, Ibrahim Abdulsalam. He is charged alongside others for stealing and conversion of 6.8 billion naira.
The FCC had alleged that on the 19th of August 2013, the accused conspired to induce NAMA to deliver the sum of 2.8 billion naira to Delosa Limited, Air Sea Delivery Limited, and Sea Shadows Systems Limited. It was alleged that the delivery was under the pretense that the money represented the cost of clearing NAMA's consignment. Justice Babs Ekwemene has fixed the trial for the 12th of May. In Lagos, Viera Chunwoba, NTA News.
Still on the judiciary, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has rearranged Nigerian-based Indian businessman Patrick Fernandez before the Federal High Court for 32 billion naira fraud. The accused was rearranged before Justice Ishola Olatoregun following the transfer of the previous trial judge, Justice John Ishoho, from the Lagos Division of the court. Viera Chimoba again has more.
Patrick Fernandez, an Indian businessman, is being prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. He is facing a 56-count charge. When the charges were read, he pleaded not guilty to the charges. In a short ruling on the bail application, Justice Ishola Olatoregun held that the accused should continue with the earlier bail granted by the previous judge. She, however, urged the council.
NTA Good Morning Nigeria reiterated this while discussing Nigeria's satellite program. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
The Nigerian communications satellite, NIGCOMSAT, has clear purposes evidently visible in areas like agriculture, disease control, disaster management, conflict resolution, among others. 2003 saw the launch of the first Nigerian satellite, NigeriaSat-1, while in 2004, the NIGCOMSAT was launched and became the second Nigerian satellite and Africa's first communication satellite. Even as Nigeria continues to advance in a level of satellite development, many question the usefulness of launching a satellite towards the development of the nation's economy.
That if nothing else, that the breakthrough in communication is enough. The fact that the whole world can communicate at the same time, the technology NASA brought about, linking communication satellite and the rest of the world is more than enough.
We at NIGCOMSAT now, as I'm talking to you, over 4 years ago, NIGCOMSAT has a solution that can make Nigerians to vote from their house. You don't need to go out anywhere. We have a virtual voting system fully developed, indigenously developed by the engineers of
National Assembly and growing synergy with the private sector to impact on the populace, especially in the rural areas for overall development.
Tourism sector has to do with hospitality. Hospitality drives tourism too. All right? And if you think of it too, that the GDP of Nigeria today, the way it is, the hospitality industry, no matter how minute you perceive it, still creates employment for a greater majority of our people.
When you develop this industry, you have peace. One thing we've probably not done too much is we have not been able to involve the local people.
For us, and then the local people will benefit. Every region in this country has a variety of cuisine that can be marketed internationally. If we can get 1% tax of the profit made by these companies into a tourism development fund, we will be raking in hundreds of millions of naira annually for tourism development in this country.
Experts say the right steps are being taken, particularly with the National Tourism Summit, to build capacity in personnel and institutions to make Nigeria a tourism hub. They strongly believe that Nigeria will be a force to reckon with in tourism globally. Talati Ezerike, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on the NTA. We now take a break. The news continues shortly.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment,
Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Art Cup N87 2004. Date 28 April 2016. Venue Conference Hall 028 House of Representatives National Assembly Abuja. Time 10 a.m. The following stakeholders are specially invited. All stakeholders and the public are requested to submit 30 hard copies and a soft copy of the memoranda to the committee clerk not later than Wednesday 27th April 2016. Honorable Frederick Y. Ibedi, Chairman, Announcer.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805 502 9637, 0803 450-9726, 0909-9708-111. Horizon Caterers. Experience catering beyond the horizon.
Electrical and electronics. This is the foundation of television. This explains why emphasis is placed on the competencies of operatives in the engineering units of broadcast stations.
Now, so una not the respect una old age for public. Now me they call old. No, not be you. Now your shadow.
Sure you won't go fight them. Eh, madam? No, wow. Take your baskets, I beg. Leave her, make she go.
Welcome back. You're still watching Nationwide. The House of Representatives has urged the federal government to commence the process of ensuring that children in the various IDP camps who lost their parents and don't have anywhere to go to are adopted by government-accredited orphanage homes. This is one of the resolutions of the House at Wednesday's plenary. Ignatius Nkwo is standing by to tell us more.
That motion on orphan children in the internally displaced camps was moved by Representative Asabe Veleta Bashir from Borno State. That motion was unanimously adopted by members. As a matter of fact, most members describe it as a very important motion because it will go a long way in ensuring that the resettlement process of the federal government will actually be adequately handled. The mover of that motion, Representative Asabe Veleta, is from Borno State, and she's here to tell us more on that motion. What actually informed your opinion of that motion?
Yeah, thank you very much. What informed
Nigerian Constitution compulsory in Nigerian schools. That's it for now from here. It's back to the studio.
Thank you, Ignatius. Plateau State Water Board debunks news making rounds that the public water supply is contaminated with poisonous substance. Let's now join Femichit in Jos for details. Hello, Femichit. It's good to see you.
Ray, and welcome to Jos. As preparations for the digital switchover heightens, the DG team has kick-started the random distribution of set-top boxes to members of the Holshe community. Mariam Adura witnessed the distribution and now reports.
On behalf of the federal government, to give you this preview TV box, set-top box, that you connect to your television so that you start viewing more beautiful television programs as from Saturday.
That signals the formal commencement of the random enumeration and distribution of set-top boxes by Chairman of the DG team, Edward Amana.
After the pilot project and we go full blast, there will be up to 30 channels. All right. Free to air, yes. Thereafter, if you as a household have more than one television set, you have to buy the subsequent set-top boxes.
The Holshe community was chosen for this purpose. Members of the community were elated that they were picked for the launch.
The government is trying to let these projects continue so that at least we are in a digital age. We need, modern things.
The major cause of fire outbreaks in many homes and public places. State Coordinator, Standards Organization of Nigeria, Mr. Musa George, said the country is one of the best producers of electrical cables, but unfortunately, most Nigerians do not patronize made-in-Nigeria products, thereby crippling the nation's economy.
When we patronize these substandard imported products, what we are doing is spending our money to employ foreigners, to produce substandard things for us.
He said embarking on a nationwide market raid will enhance economic efficiency as well as provide safe and sustainable environment for stakeholders.
Substandard product that has been seized cannot be returned to the owner. So in due season, as the DG authorizes, the products will be destroyed.
He added that the exercise will continue subsequently with other products. In Jos, Felicia Dalup, NTA News.
The Plateau State Water Board has dismissed rumors making the rounds on the social media of poisoned water from Lamingo treatment plant in Jos. Assistant General Manager Administration, Mr. Samuel Miesgin, debunked the rumor in an interview with correspondent Abba Abubakar Yakubu.
The assistant manager explained that the water poisoning is a rumor on the social media since Friday last week, which was false, attributing about 20 lives lost as a result of it. He noted that this prompted the officials of the State Water Board to visit the dam as well as the Lamingo treatment plant to ascertain the safety or otherwise of the water.
That Friday in the evening, the Assistant General Manager, Quality Control, went to the treatment plant, as I said, and made the staff washing out our clarifiers just to make sure that everything that we are treating there is safe for human consumption.
Our crew visited Lamingo treatment plant, where water is being distributed to various areas in the metropolis after it was treated. Manager of the plant, Mr. Ajer Adang, blamed private water vendors for sabotage, as pipe-borne water is now not only accessible, but also safe for consumption.
To make sure that all the necessary chemicals that are being used for water.
Pointed attention to an improved blasting device made by the Nigerian Army.
The rechargeable blasting device that they made out of that had the characteristics of being button operated. It was lighter, it was 1.5 kilogram in weight, and it was locally made, and they made it so that it is rechargeable. It was tested, and everybody saw it working very well.
Director General NOTAP, Azumi Ibrahim, said the gesture is a welcome development as his establishment will continue to support locally motivated technologies.
There is no nation that has developed and becomes independent without acquiring the necessary technologies to defend itself, without acquiring the technology that can power their own economy. We feel it is important for the armed forces to come together to synergize efforts.
The synergy is expected to save costs, energy, and avoid duplication of research and development efforts. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
We now join Ngozi in Enugu for more reports from that zone. Hello, Ngozi, you're on.
Hello, Lawe, and welcome to Enugu. The Archbishop of Enugu Anglican Province, Most Reverend Emmanuel Chukwuma, has stressed the need for the governors of our southeast states to declare a state of emergency on the herdsmen to prevent further loss of lives in the hands of the cattle rearers. The bishop was reacting to the death. A bill for a law to provide for public-private partnership and establish the Office of Public Partnership in Enugu State has passed through the second reading at the Enugu State House of Assembly. Susan Eze has details of our House proceedings.
The executive bill, which seeks to provide the legal framework for investors to thrive in Enugu State, sponsored by the leader of the House, enjoyed the support of the House members. Supporting the bill, the legislators pointed out that elsewhere in developed countries, the private sector drives the economy with minimal government involvement in the provision of goods and services. The members expressed confidence that the bill, when passed into law, will heighten the confidence of investors as their investments would be protected by the law. As the bill passed second reading, the Speaker, Edward Obosi, thanked members for their contributions to the bill.
All these laws is just to make sure that we create an enabling environment for private developers. At the end, all of us will benefit from it.
The bill was further referred to the Joint Committee on Commerce and Industry, Finance and Appropriation, and Judiciary to conduct public hearing and report to the House in 1 month. Meanwhile, a bill for a law to amend the revised Enugu State Finance Law 2004 also passed first reading. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And that's how it's been from this zone. We'll return to Lawe in Abuja for more on Nation.
flagging of the distribution of drugs and long-lasting mosquito nets, Governor Amin Waziri Tambuwal said the crusade against malaria is a collective responsibility of all. The governor said since year 2000, the state government has embarked on preventive and control measures against malaria in the state. Sokoto State Commissioner of Health, Dr. Balarabe Shehu Kakale, and other stakeholders said the issue of malaria will become a thing of the past as Sokoto State Ministry of Health and other development partners are collaborating to eject the disease. In Sokoto, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
The Department of Petroleum Resources Sokoto Field Office has sealed off 6 filling stations in Kebbi State. Nura Tanko Ikili reports that the controller in charge of the field office, Alhaji Muhammad Mekira, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on the agency's activities in the state.
About 100 filling stations were visited by the agency in Kebbi State with a view to ensuring fuel allocated to the state was not diverted and is sold to consumers at government-approved price. 4 out of the 6 filling stations were sealed up for selling the product above the regulated price of 86 naira 50 kobo, while the remaining 2 were sealed up for under delivery. Alhaji Muhammad Makeda said each pump of the sealed up filling stations will be fined 100,000 naira as penalty.
Expended mostly on maritime security and shipyards. Away from Africa, the Australian government is the closest center used for detention of asylum seekers in compliance with the Supreme Court ruling, which pronounced such camp as unconstitutional. In Iran, 4 reformist journalists have been jailed between 5 and 10 years for acting against national security. Arrested last year, the journalists have 21 days to appeal. Meanwhile, a US-based media advocacy group has condemned the sentencing. In Belgium, authority has transferred the alleged Islamist militant Salah Abdeslam to France to face trial for terrorist murder and participation in activities of a terrorist organization. For Global Tidbits, Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
And now sports. Stakeholders hail new pact between League Management Company and Spanish La Liga as 100 days countdown to the 2016 Rio Olympics begins. Details with Ayodeji Makinde on Sports Updates.
Stakeholders in club football administration and management in Nigeria have described the newly signed 5-year partnership between the League Management Company and Spanish Primera Liga as a new height in Nigeria-Spain relations. The deal signing, which will see reciprocal visits of Spanish clubs to the country during pre-season trainings, technical development of Nigerian football officials, as well as capacity building and commercial rights of Nigerian clubs in our stadium. With Sports Updates, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
And that's the size of our package nationwide. Join us at 5, 6, 7 and 9 for more reports. Good evening.